Well, I don't care what you're drinking, coffee, tea, water. It is definitely time for a break. Honest, when I sit down to do these coffee talks, 9 times out of 10, I have no idea what I'm going to talk about. And that is definitely the case today, but that's the whole idea. This is the Homesteady coffee break where we sit down and we just talk like we're a couple people at the coffee shop about whatever's going on, what's on our minds. Spring exhaustion. That's where I'm at right now on the homestead. Let me know in the comments below if spring exhaustion is hitting on your homestead. You come out of winter super ready to go, so excited, you want to get everything. And you do. You get a bunch of chicks, you get a bunch of pigs, you get a bunch of camels. Did you get a bunch of camels this year? Just really excited to be doing something finally, getting outside. And all the new animals take a ton of work. And that spring exhaustion is starting to set in where every day at the end of the day is just like, beat. I come inside and I just like hit the couch and I'm like, and hitting the couch right now for us, hitting the couch is about 7:30 or 8 after we've eaten dinner at like 6:37. Evening milking is taking place about 5:36. And I got to tell you, man, Millie is giving me a run for my money lately. We'll have an update video soon. We have moved some things around in the barn, and yeah, it's causing quite a stir. Camels are creatures of habit, and so you mess up one of their routines and they don't like it. So we've had some kind of frustrating afternoon milkings, morning milkings. And I think that's part of spring exhaustion is just you get into everything so deep and then the hard things start to show up, the mistakes, the problems we had yesterday. Every day different problems are popping up. Because we have so much going on, so many different animals, you're bound to have a bunch of different problems. So yesterday we had the milking problems, which are ongoing. We had a issue with the rabbit waterer. In the colony, the rabbit waterer, we had one waterer that was leaking that we tried to repair, and that didn't work. And then we had, I switched out for another one, and that one started overflowing. And it's just, every day we go in there, and it's just a wet, mucky mess. And that's not good for the animals, so we have to clean it every single day now with this problems. The sheep fence kind of blew down, and I had to fix that. Just like all kinds of one thing after another. And I think that's part of what happens. You get all these new animals, you start all this new stuff in the spring, and then the problems start to show up a couple weeks in, and they're here, and they're there, and they're there, and you're running around putting out fires. And then your day just gets like filled up with stuff like that. And that's part of that spring exhaustion. What are you experiencing? What's got you exhausted on the homestead this spring? Are you exhausted on the homestead? I think you should be in the spring because that's the time where you got the babies. That's the time where you're planting the seeds, getting everything started. So you should be tired. If you want to eat food all winter long, you got to start now. I think that's why homesteading in the beginning can be easy to feel overwhelmed, or even your first year easy to kind of give up or burn out, because you do have to work so much in the beginning without getting results quickly. This is cool. This is something me and Kay were talking about yesterday, a new idea I had to. I do enough discussions on this homestead about finances, business, growing your own family's wealth, growing your own food, and this concept of not milking a calf. So you ready for this? Homesteading is a classic example of where you can't milk the calf. You go and you plant a bunch of seeds, and then they start and they're little, and you have to wait a long time before you get to actually reap rewards or get the milk from those seeds. You can't milk a calf, something young, in the beginning stages. You have to wait till you have a cow who has been bred, who has calved, and then is in milk. it doesn't work to milk the calf. And that is a concept that with homesteading is real. You know, you get some chicks. Let's say you got some egg-laying chickens for the first time this year. I know a lot of people did. Speaking of chicks, I have an incubator in the house, and our very first chick has hatched. My son's been hatching chicks. He doesn't even know. He hasn't woken up yet. I woke up to the sound of that little chick. So if you hear that little peeping noise, it's the chick that hatched, looking for friends. If you got egg-laying chickens for the very first time this year, you're going to spend like 6 months on those chickens, and you're going to get like 2 eggs. Because you can't milk the calf, right? When the chicken is young, just because you got the chickens and you're feeding it and it's got a coop doesn't mean it's ready to lay eggs. You got to put in the time where it gets to grow to the point where it's ready to start laying eggs, and you can start gaining back from that. And so homesteading your first year, when you really get started, it's a lot of work, it's a lot of time, it's a lot of effort, and it's very little yield at first because you can't milk a calf. But it does get much better. By your first fall, you're harvesting from your garden. You start to get some farm fresh chicken eggs. That's really good. And then you can build on that. And that's one of the reasons why I encourage, if you're a new homesteader, if you're new to homesteading, if you're just getting started, to find projects that you can get quick wins from. There are things you can do where you can yield really, really quickly. You can almost milk a calf, as it were. And those quick wins will start to add up and make you feel like this is worth it, this is working, and then you'll keep going. So if you have panic entered the world of homesteading because of COVID, and now we officially have our topic of the video. I knew it, a couple sips of my morning brew, which is not coffee, but I'm not going to call this like golden milk chat with Ost, because that just sounds weird. A couple sips, though, and I figured we'd figure something to talk about. So if you have started homesteading because of COVID, congratulations. Starting is one of the hardest things to actually do in the homesteading world. But now, how do you keep going, right? How do you make sure you don't burn out early because you worked all month long and there's nothing to show for it? Well, first off, really try to focus on some things that you can get some early, quick wins from. And we're going to be talking about that in some upcoming videos, but we've shown a couple really good examples of that on this channel in the last 2 months of our Homesteady CAMEL train. We showed you sprouts. Literally in 3 or 4 days, you can be eating from sprouts. Microgreens in a week. Kratky hydroponics in 3 weeks you can be eating. You can get Cornish cross meat chickens in 8 weeks you can be eating. Like tons of meat. So literally in 2 months' time you could have a salad, delicious salad with big leafy greens and microgreens mixed into it. And then over here you could have a nice big old chicken thigh. Imagine how amazing it would feel in 2 months' time to have a whole dinner, salad, chicken thigh, and maybe you brew yourself some kombucha. And with the 3, you have yourself a completely homegrown dinner in 2 months. That's almost milking a calf. Really early on in your homesteading world, you can actually start reaping rewards from it. That would feel really good. That's amazing. And when you start to feel that, like, wow, look at the hard work, but look what we got, it gets addictive, and you want to do that more and more. So find some things you can start off with that are quick wins. What I do suggest, those different ones I just suggested, here's some things too that are not quick wins that you might want to not start off homesteading with. Dairy animals. Dairy animals are a very long game. Now, here's the thing with dairy animals. If you bought an animal in milk, let's say you go and you get a dairy goat and it's in milk, then you could be having yourself a quick win because literally tomorrow you could have your fresh milk. The problem with dairy animals is there is a huge learning curve to dairy life. Being married to that animal twice a day, milking in the morning, milking in the evening, or even if you do what we do and you do like a once a day milking, you still have to be married to that every day. So I don't suggest dairy animals for beginners because you have to get used to the rhythm of being married to your homestead. But let's be honest, a lot of us have forcefully, thanks to COVID, learned how to be married to our homestead. So maybe more of us would be ready for dairy. That if you're enjoying this like everyday being home thing, maybe a dairy would be a good way for you to enter. I don't advise that. I don't advise a beginner get involved with dairy, but you can do what you want. You don't need my permission. The whole idea you can't milk a calf or you shouldn't milk a calf. I have to work out the saying because this will become a Homesteady saying for sure. In some areas of our life, like when we're starting off homesteading, the reality is you can't milk a calf, but you can find some things that are quick wins. Other areas of our life, the idea, the principle of you can't milk or you shouldn't milk a calf is more of a warning. Like when you're starting your first business or you're starting a YouTube channel or you're starting off on a new project, to not be angry when you don't see results right away, to not be frustrated or mad. Even your first homestead, although I do suggest you find some quick wins, don't be, bummed out that you're not getting farm fresh chicken eggs in 4 months' time because, you can't milk a calf. It's just a general idea of like remembering that good things take time. And if you've just started homesteading because of COVID and you've just started homesteading because of, maybe you're worried about not having food on the shelves, growing your own food takes a long time to get really good at and takes a long time to get any kind of results. And that's okay because we're going to make it through this. As I've been saying since the very first video where we talked about COVID, most of us are going to be fine through this. Most of us are going to make it through this. The numbers, if you look at the charts, all the information that's out there on what's happening with this virus right now, most places are on a serious downward trend with new daily cases. And most of us are going to make it through. And that means that we have time to keep building our homesteads. Maybe we started because of this pandemic, but keep building. By the fall, you'll be able to get some results from it. And by next year, you'll get even more. The best year for egg-laying chickens, if you got them this spring, by the fall, they're going to start laying. And then because of the decreasing daylight activity, they're going to slow down. And you're going to be like, what happened to my eggs? I don't get any eggs. And then another 4 or 5 months are going to go by and you're going to get like very few eggs. But then that following spring, you're going to be drowning in eggs, which is an awesome thing. That's where we're at right now. We have so many eggs coming in. We're just starting now to be able to give away eggs. Like, hey, friends and family, hey, have some eggs. That's a good place to be at when you have that surplus that you can start sharing with other people. We're at that surplus point right now with milk. We're getting so much milk every day. Kay's milking Luna every single day, and we're just getting tons of milk, and we're being generous with it. We're sharing it with our friends and family. We're saying, hey, doing little barter trades for things and saying thank you to people for stuff they do with a nice half gallon of farm fresh, raw Jersey milk, which is just, when it comes to the delicious factor, you cannot beat farm fresh Jersey milk. Of course, remember, you can't milk the calf. You got to wait till you have a big full-grown cow to do it. But I'm feeling the spring exhaustion right now. Doing a 100-day daily video is a ton of work. Having all these new animals is a ton of work. Everything is a ton of work right now. I'm pretty tired. I am definitely looking forward to the fact that I will be done with the daily vlog in less than 30 days. We're coming up on that final month, or we're in the final month now. And I know some of you are really bummed about that. You're going to miss daily Homesteady videos, and I love that you're enjoying it. It is not sustainable. I can't do a daily vlog. But don't worry, because when this is over, we're going to keep doing our videos. We're going to keep making regular content. We're going to keep doing our interview shows. Some really good interviews lined up. Really good. We're going to be talking goats, chickens, cows, and pigs. 4 really great interviews about that. I got an interview I'm working on about feed, what you want to be feeding your animals. So really good stuff coming. And I want to know, What do you want to know more about? We got 30 more days in this camel train, 30 more days of daily videos. Actually, it's like 28 by now. But the idea is we got so many more videos to make. Anything that we haven't really covered or you'd like to see in more depth, let me know in the comments below. The camel train continues to ride, and that reminds me it's time to do today's camel train shout out. Today's shout out goes to Alex from the Edmonton area. We have a lot of Homesteady fans from Edmonton. Alex lives in Sherwood Park, Alberta. She has a very interesting dog. Her dog is an Australian Shepherd Poodle cross, which she calls a Aussie Doodle, which I think is a pretty fun name for a dog, an Aussie Doodle. Alex's Aussie Doodle is about to have puppies. Puppies are fun. We had puppies this year, Alex. That was a lot of fun. Got to be a ton of work at about week 7 or 6, maybe 5. But in the beginning, it was just a ton of fun. They are very excited to be part of this new experience on their homestead, which at the time is a backyard garden, but they're saving up for some more acreage. Alex says she's been promised a cow and some chickens. She says, but I'm sugaring up the old man for a horse. Hope that goes well for you, Alex. Hope you get that horse. She watched one of our videos. This is super timely. Wasn't planning this. She says, I saw your video on milking the Jersey one weekend while watching videos about cows. So that's how she found our channel. And that's what we're talking about today, milking cows, not milking calves. She says, thanks for the inspiration. Keep doing what you're doing because we just eat up the videos. Alex, we can keep doing what we're doing thanks to the support of viewers like you who became Homesteady pioneers during the camel train. For those of you watching, you can't join the camel train like Alex did. It's sold out. But you can become a Homesteady pioneer by clicking there. And you can join us for our in-depth interviews every single week. Right now I'm moving back to the studio so we can start doing the guest show again. And by not this Monday, but next Monday, we have a show booked. Like I said, we're going to be talking about pigs soon, chicken health, goats in your life. Also, yeah, some pigs. Got a really good pig interview coming. So a lot of really good stuff not to miss. And a ton more videos. Let me know what you want to hear more of. And I'll see you in tomorrow's Ask Homesteady video.